The Revolution Pot 16. The Shah apologized for the mistakes that were committed during his reign and promised to ensure that corruption would no longer exist. He stated he would begin to work with opposition to bring democracy and would form a coalition government. In effect, the Shah intended to restrain the military government, which he described as a temporary caretaker. It was just a temporary caretaker government for carrying out a full crackdown. The speech backfired when the revolutionaries sensed weakness from the Shah and smelled blood. Khomeini announced that there would not be any reconciliation with the Shah and called on all Iranians to overthrow him. This is what happened after the speech. Military authorities declared martial law in Khuzestan province, Iran's main oil producing province, and deployed troops to its oil facilities. Navy personnel were also used as strike breakers in the oil industry. Street marches declined, and oil production began increasing once again, nearly reaching pre revolutionary levels. Symbolic blow to the opposition, Karim Sanjabi, who had visited Khomeini in Paris, was arrested upon his return to Iran. However, the government still continued the policy of appeasement and negotiations. The Shah ordered the arrest of 100 officials from his own government for charges of corruption, including former Prime Minister Amir Abbas Hoveda, the former Sevak head Nematullah Nasiri. But thereafter, there were Muharram protests in the early December. Khomeini condemned the military government and called for the continued protest. He and the protest organizers planned a series of escalating protests during the holy Islamic month of Muharram al Haram to culminate with the massive protest on the days of Tasua and Ashura, the latter commemorating the martyrdom of Imam Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, the third Shia Muslim Imam. While the military authorities banned street demonstrations and extended the curfew, the Shah faced deep misgivings about the potential violence. On 2 December 1978, the Muharram protest began, named for the Islamic month in which they began. The Muharram protests were impressively huge and pivotal. Over 2 million protesters, many teenagers, certainly culminated by the mullahs from the mosque of southern Tehran, took to the streets, crowding Shahyad Square. Protesters frequently went out at night, violating the curfew, often taking to the rooftops and shouting, Allahu Akbar, God is great. According to one witness, many of the clashes on the streets had an air of playfulness, with the security forces using kid gloves against the opposition. Nevertheless, the government reported at least 12 opposition deaths. The protesters demanded that Shah Muhammad Raza Pahlavi should step down from power and that great Ayatollah Rouhani Khomeini be returned from the exile. The protests grew incredibly fast, reaching between 6 million and 9 million in strength in first week. About 5 of the population, about 5% of the population had taken to the streets in the Muharram protest, both beginning and ending in the month of Muharram. The protests succeeded and the Shah stepped down from the power later in the same month. After the success of what would be known as a revolution, Ayatollah Khomeini returned to Iran as its religious and political leader for life. Khomeini had been an opposition leader to Shah for many years, rising to the prominence after the death of his mentor, renowned scholar Yazid Hariri in 1930s. Even his years in exile, Khomeini remained relevant in Iran, supporting the protesters all around.